Hi there, welcome to Mission Cognition's e-course on running behavior analytic social skills programs. So exactly as the title presents itself, this course is completely focused on how to set up, structure, run, maintain, and grow social skills groups based on the science of applied behavior analysis. So if you're here, it's because you've demonstrated that interest to us, of course, but we can also see that you have that passion for doing better when it comes to play and social skills instruction, and you recognize what a critical component this type of programming is. If you're working with learners with an autism diagnosis and you're familiar with the DSM, you look at that criteria and the overwhelming trend or that ever-present theme is deficits within the areas of social interaction. So that awareness, that interest, that reciprocity, restricted or stereotyped play behaviors. So that's precisely what we focus on in these types of groups. So we are focusing on the core deficits of autism. And our primary objective is to build the skills needed to make and maintain relationships. So we're really looking to produce meaningful, long-lasting change and improve quality of life. So just thrilled to have you here with us sharing in that mission. So a little bit more about me and who we are at Mission Cognition. I am in my 18th year now working in the field, and Mission Cognition has been in existence for 6 years now. So we're solely providing social skills group instruction. We don't do any one-to-one supports at all. Kids typically come out to us one time per week and groups. The session lasts for an hour and a half, so it meets for a duration of 90 minutes. And typically over a period of 12 to 18 weeks. That really depends upon the time of year, where holidays falls, and things of that nature. So with our groups, we're currently serving ages 3 through young adult. You could certainly serve a younger population, and I'd love to see you serve older adults as well. So for us, it has nothing to do necessarily with age or diagnosis. It's a matter of, do we have enough participants of similar age, strength, and need that we can form a best fit group? I'm going to be talking a lot about what a best fit group is and how you actually form those, because that's really going to be another very critical component of your program. If kids are mismatched or they're not grouped accordingly, we're not going to be able to get the most benefit from the program. It's not going to be as effective as it could be. So we want to make sure that we're really going through a thorough intake and assessment process. And that assessment is going to yield some really valuable information, which is going to help us with that grouping process. So we want to be looking at things like language abilities, any presence of problem behavior, likes, interests, preferences, level of independence, what the play skills repertoire looks like. All that information is going to help us to match kids up. There are no cookie cutter groups here. We're not looking to put kids into an existing group and make them fit. We are completely building programs and building groups around the individual needs of our participants. So looking at those very specific and unique areas of strength and need, and then building a program around that. So that seems ideal and wonderful and fabulous, but it also sounds kind of scary and overwhelming, I'm sure. So the purpose of this course is I'm going to walk you through that entire process. So how are you identifying participants that are a best fit for one another? And then how are you forming that group structure and routine? So if it has to be individualized and you can't keep rolling out the same group session after session, how do you actually accomplish that? So we know what we need to do, and we're so excited, and we want to build this social skills repertoire. And one-to-one, we might know what goals we need to identify and work on, but that just becomes much more complex when you're looking at it from a group perspective. So how do you hit all of these individual goals and objectives, giving equal attention across all participants in the group, making sure that all the topics are relevant for them, making meaningful gains, having fun, being natural. Oh, don't forget about data collection, because we're an ABA program. You have to be collecting that data to determine whether or not your program is effective. So a lot of moving parts there, but we're at a point now at Mission Cognition where we really are able to replicate that framework. So that's what I'm looking to provide to you through this course. So I'm not looking to give you a curriculum. I'm not looking to tell you exactly what to do. I don't want you walking away feeling that you have to replicate a Mission Cognition, but you can't do anyway. What I want you to do is replicate the framework of a behavior analytic social skills group service delivery model. So establishing that comprehensive, thorough, replicable, and consistent intake and assessment process, determining how you're going to pull all the information from that assessment to identify what your goals for that learner are going to be, grouping the kids accordingly, developing what we call a global focus for the group. And that really has been life-changing for us as a center. And that's what's pushed us towards being able to have a replicable framework, is the global focus areas. You may commonly, maybe more commonly hear them referred to as domains. That's just a global focus is just a term that we've coined in-house here. So all of our groups have a specific focus on these areas or these domains. And we've identified them based upon the information that we've gleaned from the assessment. That's how we're building those comprehensive and individualized groups. So we're referring to the global focus areas that we have identified and established. We're selecting 3 to 5 of those areas and building the entire group around that. That way we know that that group is targeting the core deficits of the learners who are the participants within that group, and now serves as a beautiful framework for us to just input lessons and activities that align with those domains or focus areas from week to week. So this has tremendously cut down on the amount of prep time, planning time, because to be a sustainable model, we need to be careful with the use of our resources. So I needed to streamline the process and figure out a way that I didn't have staff working, 12, 15 hours a week in preparation of running 1 hour and a half group. That's just not sustainable for us. So how do I streamline that process without sacrificing clinical quality? So I want to be extremely efficient in everything that we do, clear policies and procedures, but absolutely we cannot dilute the clinical quality of this program. We need to remain cutting edge. We need to make sure that we're always sticking with science. The highest quality, most effective service that we can provide. So I very much look forward to sharing some of those tips and tricks and strategies with you throughout this course. So again, we'll be going through everything from that intake assessment process, forming those groups, identifying what your global focus areas are, breaking that down to have clear goals and objectives for each of your groups. And then again, we talked about that data collection. It's the love-hate relationship. We know we need it, but how on earth do you possibly collect data on multiple different goals, multiple different learners at the same time? So we'll certainly be spending a good amount of time talking about how we've streamlined that process, that we're able to get the information that we need without feeling that we're walking around just with our head in a clipboard. Because again, this is a social skills program. There needs to be a high level of interaction. And even looking down for 2-3 seconds to record something sometimes results in you missing out on an interaction that you could have facilitated. So we want to make sure that we're able to be in the moment, be very mindful of what's going on. You're not going to catch every teachable moment. We're humans, but let's try to catch more than we miss. So we'll certainly be talking a lot about that. And then your staff training. So if you have a population of staff or team members who have really come from a one-to-one teaching setting, they're very skilled in the science. I know their ABCs in and out, but it's that one-to-one model that's their comfort zone. We're going to make sure that we're able to identify specific skills that are really going to help them to be effective facilitators, instructors within a group model, because it is a different skill set that's needed. Same science, but I would argue that in this this group model or in the social skills model, it's really the science in its most natural form. So we really need to hone our analytic skills. We need to be very keen observers, know when to facilitate versus when to lead. So that's really always an exciting conversation for me when we get to the staff training piece. Now, how about family coaching? So you have the kids, they come out to your group. Logistically, dependent upon how often you're able to offer group, for us, it's only one time per week. So kids come to us for an hour and a half, one time per week. Shockingly, we are able to make significant gains during that time. And it's because we're sticking with science, we're programming for generalization from the start, and there's very specific ways for you to do that, research-based ways, which I'll share with you. And we're also making sure that we're identifying appropriate targets. So you're looking at the social significance, you're also looking at the rule of relevance. Is engaging in this behavior, demonstrating this skill, going to contact reinforcement for that learner in the natural environment? And that's all going to come under the umbrella of that conversation on generalization. But again, they're only here for a limited amount of time. Think of how much more progress we can make when that child's entire team is on board, which is going to mean the people that spend the most amount of time with them. So their parent, guardian, their caregiver. And if you can build a collaborative relationship with that classroom teacher, by all means, let's build this community. So disseminate information, open up that line of communication and that dialogue. So I definitely will want to be talking about the family coaching component of this as well. So families can work to carry over the work that you're doing in center. And that program has been really well received because we're teaching in such a natural way. Where I do see challenges and barriers that we can certainly talk through is on teaching play a lot of times, because that's something that just comes so naturally to typically developing kids. It can be somewhat awkward or challenging for us and as adults to figure out where to meet the learners. And often we just come on too strong at too high a level. Right? If you think about your experience with play or your memories when you were a child, a lot of mine are based in pretend play, right? These elaborate schemes of taking on these different roles and fantasy, all those types of things. The large population of our learners are not at that level. Pretend play doesn't emerge until around typically developing 4-year-olds. So we need to be able to again, meet them where they are, be able to assess that. Are we more at an associative level? Are we just needing to focus on tolerating the presence of peers? So we as the facilitator instructor really need to break that down and then give parents, caregivers a framework to work off of. Really, they need a task analysis to go through to feel more confident in that skill set. And if you make a mistake or you feel like you failed because you tried to do something fun with your kid and they were not, showing the same level of interest or enjoyment you were, that's okay. Just don't quit. Hey, here's plan B. And how to differentiate that instruction. So as your child is acquiring more language, what your teaching procedures then might look like. So you want to make sure that you're really sticking together as a team. The more people on the same team with a shared goal, the more effective your service is going to be, and clearly the more significant gains you're going to see. So again, so thrilled to have you here sharing in this mission with us. Very, very excited to get started and jump right in. You're more than welcome to work at your own pace with this course. You do have 6 months access. So I want to make sure that you take your time to go through it, really digest all of the information. There's quite a few assignments embedded here within this course. I absolutely read all of them in detail. I provide feedback. So take your time with submitting them. And by all means, any questions as you get going, please reach out to us, shoot us an email. Some of the discussion tabs and the modules are open. You're welcome to put a message there as well. So thank you. And I look forward to seeing all of the professional growth from your end and just being a part of this conversation. Thanks.